Hi, I'm Miriam Eves with BP Launchpad.
Hello, my name is Darren Edgar, and I'm the CEO at Light.
My name is Anya Costello, and I'm the safety lead for BP Launchpad.
My name is Lilia Noble, and I'm the product lead at Light.
Nermeen Rahman, Head of Strategy, Open Energy, Chartered Mechanical Engineer.
Hi, I'm Sam Skerry and I'm Senior Vice President for Launchpad and Venturing at BP, focused on investing in and scaling new companies to support the energy transition.
Hello, my name is Tara Nichols. I am the UX UI designer for Light.
I'm Lavanya Das and I am the marketing partner at BP Launchpad.
My name is Karina Correa and I am marketing manager at Light.
Hi, I'm Nicolas Armao, HSSC and Wellbeing Manager within Innovation in Engineering.
My name is Victoria Sheehan. I am the Community Manager at BP Launchpad.
Hi, my name is Claire Kelleher. I'm a data scientist here at Light.
So hi, I'm Mike Popham. I'm the CEO of Stride, who are a seismic technology company.
I want to give a shout out against ageism. I think it's really important to have all ages around a table, particularly when you're trying to innovate, because a longer set of experiences and different perspective are only going to contribute to a better end product or solution in the end. And I think it's really important that we actively seek to bring all different ages into a conversation and into a situation.
The bias I wanted to talk about is ageism, and particularly a bias towards younger people that I saw earlier in my career. I noticed, both myself and with others, that in large companies it's really, really hard to get your voice heard when you're junior in a company and you first started. Really hard to penetrate many layers of an organisation that are filtering out what you feel is really important for decision makers to hear. And also often saw super talented people who, in my view, were more than qualified for a job being passed up for promotion with reasons like you don't have enough experience. And that didn't make sense to me. You're losing out on different perspectives. You're missing the voice of a large part of your workforce. You're also, that group might be your customer base now or your customer base in years to come. And by not listening, you're losing a lot as a company. So I'm going to break the bias by, in Stride, the company I lead, making opportunities for young people and ensuring that the way we work, the way we're set up means their voice can be heard and their skills can be used to the best effect for everyone.
I faced a bias where assumptions were made about my capability based on my appearance and gender. This has affected my career as it takes me longer to prove my ability and experience for a job I'm already qualified to do. And this happens over and over again.
The bias I challenge is women who are judged on their appearance and age, but not necessarily by their credentials. My experience comes from my past career working in a male-dominant technology environment. I felt I was not given projects that I was very capable of doing. This seemed to be a regular occurrence. When opportunities arose that I showed interest in, I felt I was not supported to follow through with them. This had an impact on my confidence. You start to believe it's true, that you aren't good enough, and it then can affect your working performance when ultimately all you want to do is shine. I believe all people should be valued in what they can bring, regardless of gender, what you look like, or how old you are.
The unconscious bias I would like to talk today is ageism against young women. I am the land manager of a very talented young woman in her early 30s. And recently I witnessed in several occasions unconscious bias toward her. A specific example is when my colleague and I were in a meeting with a male senior leader. And during the meeting, the senior leader was only talking to me, despite the fact that my colleague was a subject matter expert in a discussion. And I have to say I was not sure how to react during the meeting. With insight, I should have spoken up. I should have challenged respectfully the leader. This is a commitment I made to my colleague following the meeting. If a similar situation arises in the future, I will speak up. One of the key lessons learned for me is that we need to address the elephant in the room. If a situation does not feel right, probably it isn't. We all have the duty to speak up. So let's do it.
I have worked in male-dominated industries and traditionally male roles for all of my professional career. starting from field engineer in oil and gas and now as a software product development lead in tech. And I have chosen this not so traditional path because I do enjoy solving problems, finding solutions, and I do welcome challenges. But I remember when I was still at university, I have asked one of my relatives who was at that time working in oil and gas industry if he would be able to suggest a good role for me in this industry as well. But he then simply said that oil field is not a place for a woman and I should look for the other industries that are more suitable for women to work in.
People tend to be surprised I'm a data scientist because I'm a woman. This is because women make up less than 1/4 of data and AI roles globally, according to the World Economic Forum. We know that this is mostly due to the fact that women from a very young age are discouraged from pursuing STEM subjects in education. So, this International Women's Day, I'll break the bias by promoting a gender-equal mindset towards education.
This International Women's Day, I like to call out the biased language that is used when people of color and women call out biased behaviors and microaggressions that they encounter. This is normally labeled as complaining. Complaining has the underlying context that we should be happy with what we have and we should be happy with our lot. What's interesting is that the people who behave with bias, who act with bias, their behaviors are called clumsy and unintentional, pushing the blame back on the person who is talking about the bias they have encountered.
I challenge the bias that we need specific diversity groups in order to help people advance their development and careers. I directly contribute a significant amount of my time to several women in technology groups, and I'm very familiar with the impact that they have. But what I would like every one of us to do is build an environment where we are right now, where these groups are no longer needed, where we have groups for people in technology rather than individual groups in technology.
This International Women's Day, I'd like to challenge the bias that women are less valuable than men in the workplace. Years ago, I did a job interview, and everything seemed to be going well. The conversation was positive, and I liked the sound of what the company was doing. Then the interviewer asked me whether I had children. I said no, and inquired as to why he was asking, thinking he would bring up childcare benefits that the company offered or something similar. To my surprise, however, he said it was because it was a challenging role, and he wanted to know whether I could put in the extra hours. I somehow doubt I would have been asked that question if I were a man. The question made me have reservations about the company culture I would be stepping into, and ultimately I decided not to pursue that opportunity.
Here at BP, we're working hard to make sure that working parents aren't subject to bias. I will break the bias by continuing to support working parents and working mothers. For me, that means being very upfront about my own family and about putting boundaries in place when I need to. For my teams, it means me taking the time to understand the challenges of being a working parent for them and about being creative about solutions for them to help. Flexible working is part of this. I'm also committed to ensuring that job opportunities are an individual's choice, making sure that my colleagues and I don't ever assume that having children at home means someone won't be able to take that next role or that next step up, because it should be their choice and their work-life balance to manage.
This International Women's Day, I will break the bias by calling out gendered actions or assumptions.
For this year's International Women's Day theme, Break the Bias, I will forge positive visibility for women.
During my career in energy, from nuclear power and now in tech, I have seen how lack of appreciation of different genders, ages, cultures and religions can create silos. I will break the bias by breaking walls and continuing to raise awareness by being my authentic self. Female, engineer, Muslim, hijabi, a woman in energy, a woman in tech.